I am sharing my seat with Mittens, our 16-year-old cat. And there's a little ankle biter in the room. Nugget the pug. But that's not what this live is about. So we were looking online today at what's going on in Europe and with other breeders around the United States. And yeah, and so we got to talking, and some things came to my mind about the situation. No, don't hit that. With the situation with breeding Mastiffs in Europe and the United States today. Again, this is my podcast. It's just my opinion. Oh, Mittens, come on. Come over here, baby. It's just my opinion. If you do not agree with this, don't worry about it. Take what I say with a grain of salt. And if you can use something I say, great. If you can't, don't worry about it, like we say in Italian. Oh, sorry. My cat's gonna knock. Go there. My cat's gonna knock off. Oh. Well, all right. So the point, you want to come here, you can come here. So what I wanted to talk to everybody today about is, and again, just my opinion, what do I know? I think breeding Mastiffs has changed. So I took 10 years off, and in 2015-16, we decided to rebuild our breeding program. And at the time, I had Grappetti and Grenier Hall. And when Antonio in Italy had reached out to us and explained what he was doing, I thought he was like a celebrity in the dog breeding world. And after some conversations, discovered that we had a lot of the same vision for what we would like to see for the English Mastiff, and being an advocate for the breed. And so we discussed it here, and I said, listen, I'm not going to rebuild my program unless I can begin with the best. And I don't want to breed what everybody else is breeding. And so that was very important to me. And also, it was important to me that there was not just the parents of the pups are tested, but the parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles of the pups are genetic tested and can be proven. You know, we are not believers in clear by parentage. Every puppy used for breeding must be tested. And so if you're not doing that, my opinion, clear by parentage does not fly. It does not wash. Because like with humans, stuff can skip generations. And to be perfectly honest with you, maybe it's my Italian pride, I don't know, but I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I don't want what anybody else has. I want what nobody else has. And so that was my mission, collaborating with Antonio Fracassi in Italy. And so, but to be clear, Antonio is not the originator of these lines. Massimo Antocci in Sicily imported them from England over to Sicily, and he wanted something for the breed that was unparalleled. And that was that's what put the fire in my belly to go all out with these lines. So we spared no expense. We imported We got Gage, my first, when we rebuilt the program. Well, I did say I had Grappetti and Grenier Hall, so I had Rory and Holly and Sophie. But then I wanted from Europe. So my gauge, my big brindle gauge, was Del Fracasso and Duranx de Bon. So to Ferdinando Del Fracasso and Fenrir Duranx de Bon from England. And so I was very certain at that point that, again, parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles of all the pups that descended were tested. And so that was the only way we were going to rebuild. So in 2016, 15 got Rory, Holly, Sophie, and all that. Holly and Sophie were Rory's daughters. But anyway, moving forward with that. So we built our program and our foundation lines on Gage. Then we imported Patton, who was the son of Cosimo and Unica. Y'all can Google Cosimo del Fracasso. And then we got Kiana, who's the daughter of Urano and Viola. And then Serafina, who's the daughter of Franca. So without going back over that, I had that fire in my belly to breed here in the United States better than anyone else was breeding. It's not that the lines here were not good. If that is what you wanted for a body type and a build and a look and a temperament, it just didn't do anything for me. What we really were focused on was that unbelievable, massive body type where the head is blocky, okay? And you look at the head of Patton, Kiana, and Gage, you see that massive blocky head with the nice tight ear, the muzzle only so long, the eyes proportionate, and the corner of the eye to the ear, and the beautiful shape of the skull. Now, I call it a gorilla skull. Some people don't like that I call it that, but that's what I call it. Again, wanting that nice, short, thick neck, going to that broad chest, those big shoulders, and then from the side, that beautiful top line at the wither, if you know horses, that beautiful top line right to the dock of the tail. And that beautiful top line, meaning a nice straight top line. The hips are not higher than the shoulders. Then you want to see the front paws straight, under the shoulder, that when you stand up, it's this, pointing forward, right from the shoulder straight and pointing forward. Then back legs should be in line and following that front leg. The back paws should be directly, sorry, my elbow won't go like that. Then back paws should be completely in line with the front. Big chest, big hip, short, thick neck, and a bear paw. Not a diamond-shaped paw, not a cat paw, a bear paw. So, a few years ago, the dog food company started to change up their ingredients. I had contacted Purina and had discussions with them about their ingredients. They were unaware that they were putting something in the new formula where they had switched up, be back about 5 years ago now, that they had switched up and added something that they should not have added. So first they didn't take me seriously. Then I kept coming at them and at them and at them, going back and talking to the next person and the next person and the next person. And at the end of it, they decided to put it back to the original formula. So that in itself might be okay. That solves that problem. But what happens is when you have Mastiffs, you have females. I'm not going to use the term bitch. I hate that term. Wouldn't call a woman that. I don't appreciate calling a dog that, especially my females that I love. But the human female body, and in the animal world, the female body is designed to reproduce. So they come into their heat, they come into estrus, all that good stuff happens from about a year on. So, in the wild, they breed. About a year old, year and a half old, they breed. Here in the United States, we say don't breed till they're 2. All the testing's done and the genetics are done, and that's great. But during the period of time when Purina, who had really less recalls, a lot of the other dog food companies have had recalls. All you got to do is Google Blue Buffalo, Nutrish, and that's what I go by. What are the fillers? Are there fillers? What's the first ingredients in the product? And my husband at the time, that's all he was doing 24/7 was researching products and what we were feeding our dogs. And so, 1 second, please. No, we're not going to do that. Nugget. No. Sorry. He went on my bookshelf and took out a book. But the thing is this. Nugget. No. So the thing is this. The female body is designed to reproduce. When a female dog does not reproduce, after coming into a strong estrus, you run a high chance and probability of brucellosis and pyometria. Again, now you fail while you're feeding Purina, not knowing why you're missing with all the testing and everything else. You still missed your girls. And so for me, I took them back to the vet, tested for brucellosis, tested for pyometria, did vaginal cytology, did vaginal swabs. It was a never-ending, it was a never-ending vet visit. Felt like I was always there. And every time I went, it was $600, $800, $900. So let me get him. So as time has gone on, what I have learned is because certain clients that thought they wanted, here, you want to take him? Thought they wanted that perfect build and body type that we were known for, the bar started to be lowered. People started to get tired of waiting. I don't think they really cared about the fact that it could have been a dog food issue. And so a lot of clients went and bought lesser quality dogs. And I don't have a problem with that, if that's the decision you make. But then a lot of people would get them lesser quality dogs and then call me for advice when they were having health issues with them lesser quality dogs. So 80% of my clients did stay with me. We were able to, roll, as we say. But now looking at the breeders in Europe, Antonio included, I was disappointed today when we saw at a show the quality of the dog that he has presented and campaigned, as we say. So if you look at the dogs that are being shown, the heads are smaller, the feet are cow-tipped or cow-hocked. It's a much smaller paw. It's not that big, bold beautiful body type that puts that fire in your belly for your Mastiff. So, you know, for me, I'm all about loyalty, integrity, and respect. The clients that have stuck with me are very much looking forward to November. Again, I've had to switch things up here in my breeding program, and I'm not really going to get into it, but in terms of location and all that and how we do things, I've had to switch things up. And so, but what has really honestly disappointed me is the quality of dogs being bred today. We're just not seeing it. And so when we get contacted now, it's about, oh, I called this breeder, and this breeder. Nobody has anything that looks like your dogs. I got to have a pup out of your dogs. And I tell people I'm not making any promises. We are giving it everything we've got for November's breeding. They may come in the end of October, beginning of November, and that's great. So it's going to be important that if you want to see that happen, the breeding, the progesterone testing, the pregnancy testing, the ultrasounding, you're going to have to join my Facebook page, Bella Vista English Mastiffs, request to join, and then you'll have to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Bella Vista English Mastiffs. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you like it, and hit the notification button because you're going to not want to miss things. So again, you know, today it just sort of hit my heart that I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in a lot of breeders that I had respect for at one time. I am not going to breed to any dog that does not meet the look and the quality for why we even rebuilt our program in 2015. I would sooner pass and walk away. So Bella Vista English Mastiffs is known for great genetics, superior body type, unparalleled kid-proof temperament. And unfortunately, I'm getting phone calls and messages from people that are sorry that they didn't wait a little longer and went and bought from lines that don't have a lot of those qualities. And I think it's not just the breeder's fault. I think people have dropped their standards some. When you used to be all fired up about a certain look and a big, bold, majestic Mastiff, when you get tired of waiting, you sort of, you know, lessen your checklist. But guys, a Mastiff is a big commitment. You must start with superior bloodlines, that unparalleled temperament, so that you can take your Mastiff anywhere. Again, when you get your puppy home from us, you want to make sure you socialize to anyone you want to be able to walk in your door unannounced. Because although they are known as a gentle giant, they will defend the home. If your Mastiff is in the car and you're parked downtown and your wife and children are in the home, or you're in your home, in the car, or your girlfriend's in the car, and somebody walks up to the window, the Mastiff will get in between you and a threat. You know, my opinion is they'll give their life for you without a thought. And so how we raise them, how we breed them, how we raise them, and how we socialize and train them is important. And so if you're thinking about a Mastiff, first thing you want to do is think, do I own a home or do I have an apartment? If you own a home, are you inside city limits? Are you outside city limits? because that may determine the type of dog you can have and what you will have to do to meet those requirements. Like, we are outside of town. We're in Maine. So there's really no law to, how many dogs I can have and whatever. People have 200 ponies on their land. And it just is Maine. So, but you want to make sure that you're complying with the city or town that you live in. That's first of all. Second of all, or probably first of all, you want to call your home insurance or apartment insurance. Let them know you're thinking about purchasing a Mastiff. It boggles my mind why any insurance company would put an English Mastiff in the same category as a Rottweiler or a German Shepherd or a Doberman, when the English Mastiff is notorious for being a gentle giant. But alas, ignorance is no excuse. There are some very uneducated people in that world, and your job is really to make sure that you always want to comply. Again, I tell a lot of breeders, before you think about breeding any breed, the very, very first thing you want to do is, are you ready? Are you ready financially? Are you prepared to purchase? Not just the breed you want to breed, but something no one else is breeding. Why do you want to be a backyard breeder? Why do you want to breed what the guy in Massachusetts is breeding? For me, I want something nobody else has. So if you're going to breed Dobermans, import your dogs. If you're going to breed German Shepherds, import your Shepherds. If you're going to breed Mastiffs, you're not going to find anything like I have here in the United States, or we have. Go to Europe, do your due diligence, research the best breeder, and you will spare no expense. I think, to be fair, we're about $150,000 into our breeding program. When you think about what we've done to the property, the lines we have purchased, the genetic testing even beyond what Italy did, then we do our own genetic testing here. What we've done to make sure we comply with the state of Maine Department of Agriculture, AKC, and our insurance company. So, now I will tell you, I wasn't going to get into this, but as far as us here at Bella Vista English Mastiffs, what we have had to switch up is our insurance company no longer wants the sale of puppies to be from this address. They will no longer insure puppy sales from our address. So they are not going to stop me from being a breeder. We've all agreed I can breed. I can progesterone test. I can impregnate my girls. I just cannot have anyone come here to my home any longer, purchase the puppy, and then leave. So it is very clear with the insurance company that, now there are other insurance companies, but we've been with this company for a while, and they were fine when I had horses and up until, this renewal period. And at the end of the day, we are a family breeder. We are not a commercial puppy mill. So that being said, I will no longer be able to sell you your puppy from this location. That's no problem. Over the years, I've only probably entertained 5 people that have driven, came to our home, had a meal. I usually make a big Italian meal. We used to sit on the couch in front of the fireplace. If it was snowing out, it would be a beautiful snowy night. We're not allowed to do those things anymore until we switch insurance companies. Again, getting back to, you want to make sure you comply with the state that you live in, Department of Agriculture. You may want to put a call into their office and say, would you like to come out and check my property out? If you're breeding, not if you want to just own a Mastiff, but if you are looking to breed, you want to make sure you have a checklist of all the things you comply with. You want to make sure you've never been in trouble with AKC. and that your dogs not only are registered with AKC, like our dogs, all of their DNA is registered. It's a little extra cost, but you will never regret registering your dogs, every one of your dog's DNA. So very easy to fact check breeders. So you want to make sure you have a good insurance company and they know what you're doing. And, you know, there's a lot of little things. So I'm kind of talking like a potential, you know, puppy buyer and also a breeder. If you are breeding any breed, you want to make sure that you are doing something that nobody else is doing. And you're not a backyard breeder. You want to have integrity. You want to bring something to the program. You want to be different. Now, for me, I know my personality is not for everyone. One thing I can't stand is a bullshit artist. I really just get right to the point. I tell you the way it is. You like it, you don't like it, that's fine. Not everybody has to love me. But one thing you'll always get from us here at Bella Vista are the facts. Whether you buy a puppy from us or not, I really could care less. We have almost 100 acres here. There's lots of room for Mastiffs, and I have a big family and lots of friends. So if I don't sell a pup or two, it's no big deal. And but you want to make sure you're doing something different. We stand on honesty and integrity. It has cost us over the years in the respect that, and how can I say this without stepping in it? One thing that is important, that you have something nobody else has. And so, for me, I could have made a ridiculous amount of money while Gage and Patton were alive just selling straws to breeders. I was literally called by every breeder in the United States and Canada that shows. They all wanted to breed to my lines. The caveat to Antonio choosing us was that he had a list of about 50 people that he did never want to have pups out of any of his lines. So that kind of set me apart. I used to have about 4,000 people on my Facebook page following me. And as time went on, those breeders wanted straws off of Gage or Patton. I would call Antonio and say, when you have a minute, I'd like to talk to you. A guy in Mexico City would like a breeding pup. No. The woman in Connecticut, there's 3 women in Connecticut, they would like breeding. No, they're on my do not sell list. The woman in Washington would like a, no. The guy in Los Angeles, no. Every time I contacted Antonio and said, what do you think about this person? They're going to breed to these lines. What do you think? No. And the guy in Mexico City, through Lalo, he basically said, write yourself a check. I would just love to have a brindle out of Gage. Antonio said no. So that's been the story here over 10 years. I went from 4,000 people following me on my Facebook page down to about 1,000. It just, word travels. She's going to breed these great dogs. She don't want to share her lines. She's going to breed these great dogs, and everybody, all she's going to do is listen to Antonio. So listen, you like him, you don't like him, whatever, but he wins everything. At the time, was winning everything in Europe. I don't pull any punches. I'm a little disappointed at what he's breeding right now. I personally don't get the fire in my belly over any of the new dogs he's breeding. They don't make my heart jump. But I will tell you that there is a breeder in Europe that I really have a lot of respect for, and we've already been in contact, and my next male would be coming, our next male would be coming from there. Same integrity, but that old world standard. And he's not going to compromise his beliefs and not sell himself out. Again, I want to say, over the years, if I wanted to sell 2 straws, that's all a breeding AI is, 2 straws from Patton and Gage, let me tell you something. I was getting 20 to 30 cc's a collection from Patton and Gage. And do you have any idea how many straws I could have made out of that? At even 4,500, standing on integrity and not wanting to, sell out my lines and our lines shared with Antonio, all my foundation dogs are here. I could have made a ridiculous amount of money. A lot. And you have to look at yourself, look at it like this. If the breeder you're purchasing your pups from is driving a Mercedes Transit van and hitting every show, wearing the finest clothes and, the whole deal, and the wife is rocking Louis Vuitton purses and whatever, you have to ask yourself, not to be mean, why are they in it? Because I just got rid of my 2007 Tahoe. That's what I was driving. It was a rust bucket. I was just barely breaking even here, and I felt successful. My analogy was, if I can make land taxes, I feel successful. My land taxes were like, $3,200 a year. And a good client of ours, a family in another state, the husband said to me one time, "How do you think you're doing?" I said, "Yeah, good. All my pups are accounted for. When I go to breed the next 3 litters, pups are all sold. I got about, 100 people on standby waiting." And he said, "Chris and I were talking about how you have really been doing financially. You're keeping stuff paid, you're regenetic testing, whatever new pups are coming along, you're registering DNA, you're purchasing new equipment, you're constantly testing, you're constantly doing stuff." And he said, I'm not going to mention his name, "You make about $1.72 an hour." And I went, "What?" And he said, "Well, I figure out your expenses, your electric bill when you're whelping a litter, purchasing that new piece of equipment, everything you're doing, you are making about $1.72 an hour." And I had to think to myself, wow, he was right. But at the end of the day, you stay in it, because if I stop doing this, who's going to do this to the level that we're doing it? I mean, anybody, just because a male and a female dog is in your home doesn't mean they should be bred. Purebred does not mean well-bred. Purebred does not mean well-bred. There are low-quality dogs and puppies that both the parents are AKC registered. AKC is a registry. So don't be BS that just because you're purchasing a puppy from a breeder that can say, "Oh, the parents of your dog are both AKC registered." So what? In Italian, we say "stugazz." Who cares? Okay? Or the parents of your dog your puppy have been genetic tested. Again, who cares? Stugazz. Unless you can show me on paper that the parents of my puppy, the grandparents, and all the relatives around my puppy are completely genetic tested for the breed in question, I'm not impressed. I mean, AKC is a registry. They take our money, just like AQHA. I have ridden $400 registered quarter horses, and I have ridden $750,000 quarter horses. Both AQHA. So, an AKC is just a registry. They take our money. Anyway, they've been around, since 1800 and something. But at the end of the day, it's a big commitment. You really want to research not only the breed you want to purchase, but the breeder. You have a right to do a background check on the breeder before you hand over your money. And people can say a lot of stuff, but what can they prove? I want to know what you can prove. So, we're at the age of, everybody can just say whatever they want to. And so, for me, before I drop my standard, before I produce a lesser quality pup, I would walk away. And I want to give you and leave you with this. When you're talking about the quality of a breeder, when you do your background check on a breeder, you have to look at how many of their clients have complained? And so, you know, whether it's the breeder in Florida, I wound up with 2 of her clients because all they did was complain. And I know people that have gone back and bought pups from them. I'm going to sit back and watch the fireworks because, you know, those breeders that where I have picked up a lot of clients in the last year, the #1 complaint is health issues we didn't discuss that were in your lines. That's what these clients have told me. And the fact that when there's a problem, you don't pick up your phone. So if you're a breeder, answer your phone. Stand behind your health guarantee, your 1-year or 2-year health guarantee, whatever it is. And for goodness sake, if you don't have something to bring to the table, and you're not going to breed something better than the rest and better than me, why bring life into the world? It is your moral imperative to breed something better so that you can sleep with your head on your pillow at night. Why aren't any of my clients, our clients, on all these Facebook groups crying about the quality of the dogs they got from us? You will never find any of our clients complaining all over Facebook about any pup. Now it would be an adult dog. So the meaning of this video today was I am disappointed at the quality of Mastiffs that are being bred. You know, the head is not the right size, the ear is too houndy, the nose is too long, the mouth is a little wonky, the eyes are not, you know, set right. No more big chest, no more big hip, no more big bear paw. Come on. So anyway, we're going to continue to do what we're going to continue to do. The only thing that has changed is some things in our feeding regimen and how we have to comply with our insurance agency. But besides that, we're ready to go for November. So if you're interested, don't forget, subscribe and hit that like button. We love you. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great day.